All right, welcome back. You are listening to Real Estate Radio Chicago here on AM 1160, and I am your host, Bruce Bedard, but you know that by now. If you have questions for me, or if you want to talk directly with Michael, make sure you give us a call. The toll-free number here in the studio is 888-403-4242. Once again, 888-403-4242. Now, Michael, I want to deviate for a minute because you've got a couple of things I want to talk about. We may not be able to finish your entire list. So like we said before, you're willing to send this to people if they want, but you
Sure.
also said you're going to put it on your website. Now, what is your website so that if somebody wants to come visit you?
We're working on it right now. It's www.MikeChicagoRealtor.com. MikeChicagoRealtor.com.
Okay, so we'll have this posted on there, but in the meantime, don't wait for it to get to the website. Give us a call, and we'll send this out to you absolutely free of charge. There's no cost, no obligation. There's no ups, no downs. We're not going to charge you $19.95 or whatever that Earl Scheib paint job commercial was back in the 70s. Okay, so let's talk about one of your listings that you have. Again, you're a Chicago guy, so what a shock. You brought us a couple of condos. You mean there's condos in Chicago?
Sure, and good ones too.
Okay, so let's talk about this one. Where's this property located at? And then let's start talking about price and all the details of it.
Well, the first one is at 442 West Wellington. That's in East Lakeview in Chicago.
Okay, great community.
For people who don't know where that is, that's between Diversey on the south, Irving on the north, Lake Michigan on the east, and Broadway on the west.
Okay, and let's talk about the specifics of this, because I hate even calling this a condo. When you look at the size of it, it doesn't look like a condo. But let's talk about price and then what's in this property.
Bruce, for $649,000, you can get a 4,000 square foot home on one level.
4,000
square feet, Bruce. That's 4 bedrooms and 3.5 baths, and it comes with 2 parking spaces.
And I'm telling you, I looked at the photographs that when you sent this to me. The number one thing I saw right away, you can have condos that have some decent sized bedrooms and stuff, is you look at the kitchen. This does not look like the kitchen of a condo. My image, and I realize I'm biased a little bit, my image of a Chicago condo kitchen is a galley kitchen that's probably about 6 feet wide and 12 feet long.
Bruce,
this is not even close to that.
This is like having a home in the city on one level. So let's say you have a suburban person,
huge home.
A suburban person listening to the show right now, and they want to move into the city and get something that's reasonably priced, but still get the square footage of how they lived out in the suburbs. This is the place.
3,800 square feet. That's huge.
Sure. And just so you know, parking's tight in Chicago. There's 2 spots here, not 1, 2.
Yeah. So tell me about this property. What other than price and square footage and the fact that it's got 3 bedrooms and that kind of 4 bedrooms and 3.5 baths. Tell me about the rest of the property. What's good about it?
Well, it's vintage. It's got a beautiful stone exterior, but it's also
it is a beautiful building.
It's also extra wide on the interior. You don't feel like you're in the city. You feel like you're in a luxury penthouse somewhere. And what I like about it is that it's got a doorman. It has a bike room. There's storage on site. There's a manager on site. There's also a party room and a receiving room and an extra service elevator.
Okay. So we've got a building that's got its own doorman, which is, I don't want to say that's not uncommon, because there are plenty of nice properties that have doormen, but it's nicer to have somebody on property, on site, to help you when you have issues.
And Bruce, normally there isn't central air conditioning in these older buildings. This gentleman actually put central air in it because the ceilings are so high. They were able to add something called Space Pack, which is central air conditioning.
Okay.
So you get all the advantages of modern living, yet the building has some character. And it's on a tree-lined street, really nice.
And if somebody wanted to come take a look at this, you could get them in this property, you could show it to them, and you could talk to them about everything about this property.
Absolutely. I also wanted to mention how accessible it is. You're about 4 blocks from Lakeshore Drive if you want to go by car, and you could walk to Wrigley Field from your home.
So if this is a property that you like, just give Michael a call, and you can call in toll-free number. Michael can give you his, but again, 888-403-4242, and Mike will be happy to show you this property. And you brought a second one with you as well. Let's talk about that one just as well, because it's a nice property as well, even though it's in a different area.
This is in the Gold Coast. It's 1300 North Lakeshore Drive, and it's on the 34th floor. Bruce, this unit is special because it looks straight east and south. So you not only pick up part of the beach line and skyline, you get an incredible view of the Chicago.
Yeah, 34th floor.
Bruce, it's like I was just at the Air and Water show, and before I listed it, and I brought a professional photographer with me. It's as if you're on the 50-yard line for a Bears game watching the show, where these planes are right at eye level with you as they zoom by. It's spectacular.
And so those people that may not be as familiar with Chicago as, like I am not as familiar with Chicago as Michael is, literally when I Googled it to look on the map, you literally cross Lakeshore Drive in the beach is right there.
Yes.
Which beach again?
You're right off Oak Street Beach.
Oak Street Beach. So you're up on the 34th floor. You probably don't even see Lakeshore Drive unless you look down. You're looking out over the lake. You're looking out over Oak Street Beach. Probably can't see anything, so don't try to look for that. And then literally you're right on the beach overlooking everything. And again, once a year with the Air and Water Show coming in town.
And Bruce, talking about accessibility, you can walk to some of the finest restaurants in the world just a few blocks away.
Yeah, so, and again, this is another place. Let's talk about the specifics of this property, because I know you gave the address, but what's the price on this one, and what do you
It's
find?
really well priced at $549.9. I really appreciate
Gold Coast for $549,000.
I appreciate it when the seller listens to me on where to price something so it will sell quickly, and I told them that we will sell this within 2 weeks. It's got 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. It's a full-service luxury building because there's an elevator, and it lets you off to your unit. There's no one else.
I saw that.
It's really nice. So a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll decorate that hallway or add extra storage. But for high-rise living, it really doesn't.
People are not streaming around the neighborhood. It's letting you off.
No.
I mean, the floor. You're getting right off at your unit.
Absolutely. Now, even the Eden kitchen has a view of the beach. It's really nice.
And not only that, didn't you tell me that this is the one of them that has a pool?
Yes.
So, I mean, you got a condo downtown, right at, well, you might only want to go to the Oak Street Beach, but if you want to go to a pool as opposed to the beach, you've got a pool right there in your building.
Now, some of the nuances I was telling you about, it has a private balcony, which a lot of the buildings don't. You're also allowed to have 2 pets. Now, a lot of the buildings don't allow pets, but you're allowed to have 2 pets totaling up to 80 pounds.
Okay.
And that's it's a big bonus.
So a really fat parakeet, and what else?
A dog, a nice dog, a nice dog that doesn't shed.
75-pound parakeet. Is that what you're saying?
Sure, why not? For $549,000, you could bring your parakeet.
As soon as I find an 80-pound parakeet, I'll move in. Okay. What else about this property? Anything else you want to make sure everybody knows about?
You know, Bruce, units like this don't come up that often. Typically, when people buy in one of these high rises, it's their new home, and they're going to live there for 20 years or so.
Yeah, you said this person was here a long time.
About 25 years.
Yeah.
So they don't come up this often, especially with this view. This is the view to die for. This is the view that everyone wants, and it's available right now.
Yeah, looking out over Lake Michigan is almost like looking out over the ocean, especially from the 34th floor. It's one thing if you got the second floor and you're looking at Lakeshore Drive traffic going by all day long.
You know what, Bruce? If they go to my website, MikeChicagoRealtor.com, they'll see an incredible picture. It's the first one. It's with the Blue Angels flying over my left shoulder while I'm standing on the balcony. I brought a photographer out there, and he was able to capture it. We were shooting for an hour and a half, and finally we got that money shot, the shot that you want. And people will be really excited when they see this photo.
Yeah, so the key here is both of these units, whether you want to be in Lakeview or whether you want to be in the Gold Coast, and certainly there's advantages to each neighborhood. So we don't want to say one's better than the other. We just want to say they're 2 great neighborhoods in the city of Chicago, and both of them have their advantages. I wouldn't say they have disadvantages, but they both have great things working for them. So whether you want to look at Lakeview or whether you want to look at the Gold Coast, Michael can help you with that. But he can't help you if you don't pick up the phone and call him. That one I can tell you. Are you a mind reader, Michael?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. So I guess they don't need to call. So they do need to call in order to come see this property. They can't just wander down Lakeshore Drive and a plane will drop on their head and say, come upstairs.
We don't do business in the city like people do in the suburbs. There will be no lockbox. I must accompany you, and I will take you in.
And that's important. And forget the details of that. The important thing that Michael's been talking about today is a process. And we have a process that you will go through. Whether you stumble or fall or get a scraped knee or whether you bang your head against the wall, you are going to go through this process. And the question is whether you want to go through it with the least, I like using this phrase, with the least amount of brain damage, or do you want to go through with the most amount of brain damage? So my advice is go through with the least amount of brain damage, and the right way to do that is to pick up the phone and talk with Michael Kaufman. And again, just like I said before, Michael is the broker-owner of Bear Kaufman Realty in Chicago. And so again, if you want to buy a property in Rockford, Michael's not your guy. But if you want to buy in Lakeview, if you want to buy in the Gold Coast, and you want this type of living for you and your family, this is the guy that can help you through that process. And again, it's the home buying process that he's going to help you through and get you through to the finish line so that you get in your home and you get in happy. And that's the way it has to go. If you want to beat your head against the wall, don't call Michael. Call somebody else maybe. But if you want to get through there, now's the time. Pick up the phone and call 888-403-4242. Once again, 888-403-4242. We'll see you next week, everyone.